So now, for this particular question, we are told that we have a uniform rule that rests on two supports. Three forces x, y, and z act on the rule. Now, amongst all these three forces, the one with the greatest force is going to be y, because y is the only downward force, and because it is at rest, based off Newton's first law, all the up must equal to all the down. So we have y, which is x plus z. Okay, now, so this means that my answer is either A or B. Okay, so C and D definitely are incorrect. So the next question that we want to ask ourselves is, which is larger, x or z? So between x and z, alright, the simplest way we can do this is to ask ourselves, okay, y is sitting closer towards z. Okay, because y is sitting closer towards z, this means that z must bear more of y's weight. Okay, so we can consider this by taking an extreme. If let's say y is sitting directly on z, this means that z is bearing y's weight entirely, and if y was sitting directly at x, that means x must bear y's weight entirely. Okay, so because y is closer to z, z bears more of y's weight, and hence z is greater than x. So answer for this is B. But of course, there is another way to go about doing this, which is essentially to use moments. Okay, so if we go ahead and use moments, and we take x as the pivot, we have z, which creates a anti-clockwise moment, and y creates a clockwise moment. So we have this distance, let's call him d1, and this distance, let's call him d2. And the distance between y and z is going to be d3. So we have, based on the principle of moments and the distances, we have z times d1 must be equal to y times d2 by taking moments about x. So this means that we have z over y, which is equal to d1 d2 over d1. Okay, and now if we take moments about the other side, about z. Okay, so let me just use a different color. If we take moments about z, this means that we have y, which creates an anti-clockwise moment, whereas x creates a clockwise moment. So we have x times d1, which is equal to y times d3. And so now we have x over y, which is equal to d3 over d1. And you can see by ratio, z corresponds to d2 and x corresponds to d3. Okay, and since d3 is smaller than d2, okay, x must be smaller than z. Okay, so once again we arrive at the same result. Z is greater than x, and of course y is greater than everybody else.